Grand rising, good day, and good night. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to El Akkad's channel. Welcome to 144 from the stars. Terrell, let's go ahead and give Odin a treat. There you are, sir. Thank you all so much for being here. I greatly appreciate you. The totem for this message is going to be a Japanese spider crab. In the name of God we chose, El Akkad. You can find it in the book Malachi, chapter 2, verse 10, and it translates, one God. I've got some word for you. I'm going to be reading from the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus. I'm going to be reading from chapter 7. I'm going to read verse 29 through verse 36. Fear Yahuwah with all your soul, and reverence his priest. Love him that made you with all your strength, and forsake not his ministers. Fear Yahuwah, and honor the priest, and give him his portion. As it is commanded you, the first fruits and the trespass offering, and the gift of the shoulders, and the sacrifice of sanctification, and the first fruits of the holy things, and stretch your hand to the poor, that your blessing may be perfected. A gift has grace in the sight of every man living, and for the dead detain it not. Fail not to be with them that weep, and mourn with them that mourn. Be not slow to visit the sick, for that shall make you to be beloved. Whatsoever you take in hand, remember the end, and you shall never do amiss. A Japanese spider crab. Interesting. Well, let's go ahead and jump into Tarot, and let's see what Spirit would like you to know. While I was reading that, I was reminded of a story I had seen about a man who planted a lemon tree. And in this, he was being interviewed by a reporter. And he told the reporter, he said, well, in the Bible, it says to give your first fruits. So when his lemon tree grew and he got his first lemon, he went to church. And instead of putting money in the offering bowl, he put his lemon. The very first lemon, his lemon tree grew. And his lemon tree, after him doing that, only grew lemons the size of like a cantaloupe. Like they were the biggest freaking lemons I've ever seen. And his tree forever, like, I don't know about forever, but his tree that tree only produced ginormous lemons since he did that. And I thought that was really cool. You know, regardless of whatever, I thought that was a very, like, God reveals himself to us in many ways. And those that are faithful, those that are humble in service to God, God doesn't forget that. And, you know, I believe like a big part of this giving of first fruits to God is like of good faith. You know, are you in lack mindset? Do you fear that God isn't going to provide for you? Then just give it to God. And, you know, I had recently recorded a pretty heavy message, and it was talking about the fear of God. And we've got this universe card and this 10 of cups. And I know you're closing out a really big cycle, and you're stepping into a much more joyous happy and fruitful one. All right. Okay. Emperor with the strength and the Ten of Pentacles. Wow. That is an ascension, that is for sure. God hasn't forgotten all the times where you put God first in good faith. And I think that's one of the main things is putting God first. And there are many different testimonies and accounts of this, many different stories in the Bible and scriptures, and it is very pleasing to God. And I do know that there are a great reward in it too. High Priestess, the devil, and the Four of Wands. And you've clearly put something to rest. You may have had to face some wounds and some shadows, some grief, some sadness, some loss. If you truly gave God all your heart and soul, then you wouldn't fear anything outside of God. You wouldn't fear loss. You wouldn't fear grief. You wouldn't fear pain. Food for thought, y'all. But I do feel like someone is ascending. Someone has faced these wounds. There's that strength card. And her hand is in the mouth of that lion. What would you like the collective to know? Ace of Pentacles, you're being rewarded. And go back to that story I just shared about the man who gave his first lemon to the offering bowl in the church. And I'm sure he probably got some looks, like people looking at him like, why are you giving them a lemon? And, whatever. He boldly just did what he felt called by God to do. It says in the word that you should give God your first fruits. So next time I went to church, that's what I did. I gave God my first fruit. That was my offering I put in the offering bowl. He was rewarded. He was like on the news for having the most ridiculously sized lemons. Like God exalted him. God exalted him and his lemon tree above all the other lemon trees because he put God first. So God's going to put him first. Exalt him. This Ace of Pentacles. You have given to God. You have given God your fears. Because if you're truly going to give God everything, that includes what you're fearing. All right, God, I'll surrender to you. I'll give you everything. I'll live for you. I'll serve you. I'll be humble to you. But I'm not going to give you what I'm afraid of. No, I'm going to hold on to that. And then I'm going to use that as an excuse to not obey you when the time comes. Well, all right, you're not really putting God first then. If God told you to jump off a cliff, why haven't you done it? Oh, well, all right, I'll use myself as an example. This YouTube channel I created. I knew I was meant to do it. I hesitated. I procrastinated. Why? Because I was listening to what I was afraid of instead of listening to God. Oh, well, I don't have the right equipment, God. Oh, well, I don't know what the cards mean yet, God. Oh, well, the lighting, I don't have somewhere to sit. Oh, I don't have something to, excuses. Give God your fears too. Put God first. Okay. Ace of Pentacles. Someone's being rewarded for putting God first. God told you to do something, and you listened. And there are many others that might put a fear that they have before God. All right, God, I want to listen to you, but you see, the problem is the way my bank account's set up, the way, oh, okay. All right. I see how it is. Okay. Maybe next time. Maybe you need to go through a whole nother cycle again. And we'll revisit this. Ace of Swords. Ace of Pentacles. I feel like God has written some kind of contract or spoken something over you. Like, I don't know, we got this Queen of Wands energy, okay? And, the Queen of Wands is definitely about, like, in this energy, I'm feeling like standing on business, being bold, being determined, being courageous. The only thing I fear is God, so I'll do whatever it takes. I'm going to share a testimony of someone without, putting them out there, sharing their name. I remember telling someone at some point in time, you're ready. You're ready for it. I know you are. And their answer was freaking badass. I loved it. All right, shit, fuck it. If God says I'm ready and Spirit says I'm ready, do it. They were fully confident in themselves. They still had some fears and doubts, but they were like, you know what? If God thinks I'm ready, if the angels in heaven and Spirit thinks I'm ready, then I must be ready. Fuck it, let's do it. And it was awesome. Her life is being changed for the better because of it. That was pretty cool. I'll use another example. When I used to skateboard like on a daily basis when I was a teenager, there was a saying that skateboarding is 10% muscle memory and 90% mental. It was a thing that we would say to each other. And I don't know if you've ever dropped in on a vertical ramp before. But the first time you do that, it's a little scary. You're kind of looking at the ground and you kind of have to just like commit to it, slam down, and stay on top of the board. And it kind of looks like what you're really about to do is face plant on the concrete. It don't look fun. All right. Now there is a little bit of muscle memory involved, but not much. The main part of it is just overcoming your fear. So when I was teaching people, when people would ask me, hey, how did you learn how to do that? I would show them how to like work themselves up and get used to putting the weight on the back of their board and then leaning forward over the bolts and leaning forward and continuing. And then when I saw that they were comfortable on their board doing that, I'm like, okay, then you're ready to drop in. They're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, you got it. That's literally all it is. Have your weight on the back foot, lean forward on the front foot. You've already gotten used to this little bit of transition of energy. You're good. Now get up top and do it. And the main thing that would screw people up is they would give in to their fears. So they would either stand up there and not try at all, or they would try, but they wouldn't fully commit. They would half try, and then they would fall. They would fall because they didn't fully commit to putting the weight on the board and just believe that they would be okay. So then they would put on their foot on the board and then try to jump off, or try to bail, or try to lean backwards again, or try to stop themselves, or try to catch themselves, and now they're getting hurt. But those that believed themselves and were confident, they would just do it. And then they turn and look at me and like, I just did that. And I'm like, I know, that was awesome, right? So, gosh, I'm looking back. I was always a teacher, even as a kid. But anyways, this Queen of Wands, I feel like you did it. You committed yourself to something. And you may have had to overcome your fears. You may have had to overcome your insecurities and your doubts. But you put God first. God called you to do something, and you did it. And you're going to be rewarded for that. You overcame your ego, your personal like doubts or thoughts or opinions. And you did what you felt called to do. Ace of Pentacles. The sun and the star. Yo. Something, oh my gosh, the light is about you. Wow, that's exalting. You're about to be like, your throne is about to be put like, and oh my gosh, the energy. I'm kind of like at a loss for words. And I think other people, when they see your accomplishment, that's exactly what they're going to be like. They're going to be at a loss for words. Like, you did that? You're doing like, you're what? You're doing what? Doing what? Like, you might like tell someone that knew you from like, you might go over to your family member's house and be like, oh yeah, and they're like, oh, how are things been? Oh well, I got my first world tour and blah, and they're like, you what? And they're like, yeah, you didn't know no, I didn't know. You didn't tell me. Oh yeah, I did kind of keep that to myself. Well, now you know. I'm traveling around the world and I'm doing this. And they're like, I don't know what to make of this. This is amazing. It's like, there's something about this accomplishment that even other people, they might, look, there's some haters. Who cares about the haters? Those that actually like love you or care about you or see the goodness in you, like, it's undeniable. Like, you accomplished something. You believed in it. You committed yourself to it and you showed them. I ain't gonna tell you, I'm gonna show you. Well, I tell you when I can show you. So maybe you kept silent about this. Maybe you didn't tell anyone about it. Maybe you kept it to yourself. Maybe you felt the call and you just kind of did what you needed to do the inner work, or do what you needed to answer the call, and you committed yourself and you put God first and you did it. You didn't listen to those fears, anxieties, and doubts, because that'll just give you a bunch of excuses and reasons not to do it. And then this cycle in this season just might pass you to come back again another time. Oh, clearly you're not ready. Clearly you got some more learning and healing to do. Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to bless you, but if you're not willing to commit to God, then all right, well, this blessing might just pass you for another season. Then no, hey, there's no shame. It's okay. You're just repeating a level. You're just going to repeat this cycle. You're going to repeat this lesson until you've learned it. Oh, you've learned the lesson. Great. Now you're ready for the next step. So I'm going to go back to when I was teaching other people how to drop in on a skateboard, on the vert ramp. If I told them they were ready, and I knew they were, I could tell. I could literally tell by the comfort. They were comfortable on the board. They knew how to shift their weight. I knew they could do it. But they get up top and they start doubting themselves and they're not willing to even give it a shot. Or maybe they give it a shot, but they half commit and then they fall. And they're like, see, I failed. And I'm like, you failed because you didn't commit to it. You failed because you gave in to your fears of even doing it in the first place. So you failed before you even attempted because you already gave in to the fear of failure or getting hurt or falling. You were listening to that instead of just doing it. So what I would do for those is I'd be like, all right, go back to the other thing I taught you. Get more comfortable doing that again. So then they come up and they come up the little ramp on behind and they do a little tap and then they go back down and come in, do a little tap. And I'd be like, keep doing that till you go higher and higher and higher. And they kept doing it. They get more comfortable. Get more comfortable with themselves. And then they start believing in themselves. And then I'd point out to them, I'd be like, look, you're already at the top of the ramp. Look at you. Your wheel just touched the coping. And you didn't fall, did you? No, you're right. See? I wouldn't ask you to do anything that I thought would get you hurt unless I knew you could truly do it. Well, God's not going to ask you to do anything unless He knows you can. God knows you can do this. You believed in God. You believed in the God in you. You trusted. You put God first and you lived in faith and you took that action. You overcame anything that was trying to hold you back, that shadow, and you performed. Okay. All right. Well, there's a reward in that. Good job, collective. Yeah. I feel it. You did a good thing. Temperance energy. There's a big blessing coming your way because you listened. You answered. You overcame your fears and your doubts. Yeah, that's a mental breakthrough. You had to overcome all the times that you've been hurt or you've been betrayed or this, whatever was causing the shadow or this wound, you had to face that. And that is part of that, that shadow work. That shadow work. But if you trust God enough, you can really kind of overcome it. Think of that testimony I shared earlier in the reading where I told someone, you're ready for it. And their response was, all right, if God says so and Spirit says so, fuck it. Let's do it. They were willing to set what little bit of fears or anxieties or doubts or self-criticism that they had left. They set it aside and put God first. Facing your shadow. It leads to more fruits of the Holy Spirit. We got this King of Cups reverse, but then we also got this Five of Wands reverse. So you're leaving something behind. You may be leaving a person that, look, for some of you, this might be talking about programming of your past. Someone who imprinted an emotion onto you or a belief onto you. Wanted you to fear yourself, wanted you to doubt yourself. For some of you, this might be an ex that was emotionally abusive. It might be a father figure or a parent that wasn't all that supportive or loving or kind to you. My first unaliving letter and attempt was 7. And I remember in that letter I had wrote, I'm sorry to God. And I know that God said we're not supposed to do this and that I will go to hell. But if that's what it takes for my mom to be happy, then I'm okay with that. I wrote the letter to my grandmother. I was 7 and was willing to take my own life into my own hands just so my mom would be happy. Because a lot of hate, fear, anger, a lot of different things were imprinted on me at such a young age. And I truly believed that I was a burden to this world. I believed everything that was wrong in this world was my fault. I thought the reason why my mom wasn't happy was because of me and that I was failing her somehow. And that if I was just not here anymore, the world would be a better place. And that wound carried on. It led to me not knowing how to receive. It led to me suppressing my emotions. It led to addictions. It led to a lot of things. Me drowning out myself, me working myself too hard, me not being willing to take care of myself or pour into myself or to love myself. It caused a pretty deep self-worth wound, which actually was an echo of a wound that occurred in incarnations and incarnations ago. And in order to ascend and heal, I had to face how I was made to feel, how I felt. I had to give that part of me a voice. I had to accept that that child version of me felt like I was a burden to this world and that I was an inconvenience. And that the reason why the people that I loved weren't happy was because I wasn't good enough. That's just one example. And I'm sharing that because the way this King of Cups came out with this Five of Wands, I feel like someone in the collective has been made to feel like you are less than. Like you're not worthy of being here. Like your emotions are a burden to those around you. And you should just shut up and be better. And nothing you ever could possibly try to do will be good enough. Maybe this caused anxiety. I know for me, it like perpetuated this OCD and stress cleaning, which drives my wife crazy sometimes. I feel like things gotta be fucking perfect or be in a certain kind of way where I can't be happy. I can't enjoy myself unless everything's in order. I used to be so harsh on the content that I would upload. I'd sit there and be like, I don't know if I should even upload this. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. I'd make all these fucking excuses. Because I was listening to these wounds. I was listening to my fears. And I had to face, like, deep down at some point in time, I felt this way, that way. I believed this about myself. I believed this about the world around me. And carried that throughout my life. I don't know who this King of Cups is to you, collective, but you're healing it. You're healing it. You're listening to the God within you instead of whatever was pushed onto you, whatever was imprinted onto you at whatever age. Your adult years, your teenage years, your child years, this could be past life. Either way, at some point in time, someone programmed, imprinted something onto you that was hurtful and not true. And you believed it. You identified with it. You said, this is me, this is my truth, and this is how I should feel. And if you continue not healing that, it's going to fuck up your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your work, your relationship with your worth, your relationship with money, your relationship with God, your relationship with your wife or your children or your husband or whatever is going on here. It's going to fuck up your relationship because it hurt your relationship with yourself. First and foremost, if you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself, how are you going to have a healthy relationship with others? If you don't truly, unconditionally love yourself and have surrendered it all to God, then how are you going to experience? You see where I'm getting at? God exists in the chambers of the heart of men and women. And sometimes very cruel things happen. We have to heal that. I'll share a little testimony. I have a wonderful relationship with my mother now. And she is healed. She's actually ascended in this incarnation. And she had even done me wrong in a past life. And that's why I was sent to her as a child, as her child. So, healing and forgiveness is very powerful. Because something that felt so evil and demonic has now been brought back to love. Now, I'm not saying whoever this King of Cups is someone that you necessarily have to have a great relationship with. I have had people that have done me wrong, and whether they are alive or dead, because I'm speaking on a few different ones, there's no relationship. But the imprint that was done, the damage, that's been healed. I have forgiven them. And if, their choice of free will would be different at this time, then things would be different because I hold no judgment. But at this point in time, it's an act of self-preservation because they still choose to do what they do, is what it is. Doesn't mean I have to hold on to what they did to me. And so whoever this King of Cups is to you, you have had to heal what they've done to you. You have had to heal how you felt and what you believed about yourself. And because you have gone through this healing, and because you have resisted listening to unintegrated shadow and wounds and listening to your fears, and instead putting the God inside you first, with God, we can do anything. With God. That doesn't mean someone should go stand on the top of a skyscraper and be like, with God, I can do anything, and then jump. Like, that would be crazy, okay? Unless it was with God to do so. Now, what does that really mean? It's the will of God. If it was the will of God for that person to jump, then I full 100% believe that they would be okay. I don't know how. I don't know how it would happen. God will make a way. I don't know. You listen to God, you put God first, you do things out of good faith, and God will reward you for that. God's not just going to let you fall. God loves you. So if God is calling you to do something, and there is something else inside of you that is causing you to not want to listen or hesitate, I strongly recommend you put God first before whatever that thing is inside of you. And maybe even look at it and try to heal it. Because God is calling you to do something. And I bet you don't want to pass it up for another season. Do you want to repeat a lesson? Do you want to repeat a cycle? Do you want to come back and have to repeat all of this? There's always a reason why God asks us to do things. And even if we can't see it, even if we don't understand it, and even if everything within our ego and our feelings are pulling at us and telling us, no, danger, 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 don't do it, don't do it. If God's calling you to do it, it would benefit you to listen. And there is reward in it. And with this Temperance and Ace of Pentacles, with this Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and this Ace of Wands, you listened. You took action. God is increasing and magnifying your steps. Every time I have listened to God and every time I have seen or witnessed someone else listen to God, I have witnessed miracles, improvements, and greatness happen in their lives afterwards. The man that listened to that call of God to donate the first lemon of his lemon tree in the offering bowl, he ended up growing cantaloupe-sized lemons. I've seen other people in their lives change. Their income improves for the better. Their provisions improve for the better. They finally get a way out of a situation they felt stuck in forever. God does make a way for us. We just have to have the faith to listen and act. And that means giving God all your fears. Okay. Good job, collective. Because a great healing has occurred. And you are about to be blessed. You're being blessed for that. I'm going to go ahead and leave this reading here. If you like the way that I read, please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. I'll see you on the next collective message.